Hey, what's going on, guys? Rob Satch from Feedbackwrench. It is February 2022. I'm as pale as it gets. Like, this has been, I don't know, we've been working our butts off here at Feedbackwrench. You know, we do websites, we do digital marketing, graphic design, we do videography here. We'd love to help you if you're a small business owner. But you know what? Like, I just got to talk about something. I've started basically 3 businesses, okay? And I want to talk to you about the absolute get it done thing that I've learned, right? So a lot of you might be thinking about starting your own business. You might want to get in entrepreneurship. You might be watching all sorts of Gary Vee. You might be watching, Startup or Shark Tank and all these different entrepreneurial things. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. I know how to do this. And I'm not here to wreck your world. I want more people to start businesses, but I want a little reality check so that you can wrap your mind around something that you have got to understand. If you don't get this, you don't fathom this, you're going to fail. And so again, I've started 3 businesses from scratch. So the first one was kind of interesting. I don't know that I'd even call it, like, I didn't think it was a business, right? But long story short, I was a pastor for 2.5 years at Eaglebrook Church. I got fired when I got a new supervisor. I was kind of proud and arrogant and had to go through some special treatment to be less proud and arrogant. I don't know if it worked or not, but it was definitely like they got a new manager. We butted heads. Guess who got fired? This guy. And so after I get fired, I'm just devastated. Like, I thought I was going to be a pastor. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to help people move closer in their relationship with God, help more people find faith in Christ. And I love my church. I'm still a part of this church. Like, it's all funny, but I get recruited into Thrivent Financial. Okay, you're a financial rep where faith and finance meet. And come to find out, like, you're really a business owner. And what you have to do is you have to prospect, you have to run meetings, you got to get people so that they invest with you and they buy insurance from you. And I ended up not necessarily loving it because I didn't love the products they sold. I didn't feel really good about the products. It's like, this is not really what I would invest in, right? I don't think I would buy this. The annuities and the whole life insurance were really how you got paid. Otherwise, it was hard. Like, I just busted my butt for about a year. I could have done way more, right? A lot of respect for the folks that make that work, but I didn't feel great about the product. So anyways, that was the first business I started, right? And I had this rude awakening. Not rude, I guess I got it. But I learned something from my coach, Elena Beckius, just so you know, if you're looking for a coach, she's now a woman entrepreneur. She is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend connecting with her. I don't know what kind of services she has anymore, but I think she's a coach and she helps entrepreneurs, particularly women entrepreneurs, I think. And she's just fantastic. Anyway, she gave me so many tools that I'm going to unbox here about what you need to understand if you're thinking of starting a business, because I don't want you to fail and I don't want you to be screwed up. Number 2 business, okay? As I'm doing that Thriving Financial thing, all of a sudden I start realizing there's a ton of opportunity awaiting us. And I start this nuanced financial tax and accounting is what I called it. And basically what was happening was, while I was in the financial services industry, I was looking around at all of the successful folks. So I went to all the big firms that had been there for a long time, the representatives, right? And there was one out of the east side of the cities and one out of the west metro. And basically what they would do is they would teach on and talk on and really hit on estate planning and taxes. And basically what they would do is they would position themselves as estate planning coaches and tax coaches that would help you mitigate your taxes and deploy tax mitigation strategies. And because really that's what estate planning is too, right? It's to make sure that your stuff goes to the right place, not the state. You keep more of your wealth generationally rather than letting Uncle Sam have it, because that's a terrible misuse of money. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I'm like, I want to position myself as a tax authority. So I go back to school. I get a degree in business management. I read every book I could possibly get my paws on. I get all sorts of coaching and perspective and end up like diving into what Mark Kohler, Kohler, and all these folks talk about. And it was basically how to do tax planning, right? And that the real interesting tax planning occurs with self-employed people and small businesses. So what I do is I'm like still a financial planner or financial advisor or investment advisor, whatever you want to call it, right? I have my Series 7, Series 66 Life and Health. And I went out to find self-employed people, and I pitched them. Basically, I went out and I made this roadmap of how I could show them how to utilize S Corps, how to utilize retirement plans, how to utilize the most tax deduction systems and strategies in order to keep more of their own money. And then I was like, and then I'll help you deploy those retirement plans in your own small business. And they're all saying the exact same thing. Rob, that's great. I want to do the retirement plan thing someday, but you know what? My CPA, they don't do this. They don't help us maximize this S Corp. Is kind of what I've now come to realize what it is. They're like, do you know somebody? So anyways, I call my best friend. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I think there's a business opportunity here. And the three of us, we end up concocting this business. And we set out, and then I went out and did something, okay? And we went from 0 to 150 small businesses in a matter of about 2 years. And when I left, and there was about $1 million in revenue coming in, most of it recurring revenue. We had customers paying between $250 and $2,500 a month, and we were being their outsourced accountants. We came up with a really cool business, and I teach a lot of accountants how to do that now. Then my partners pulled some shenanigans, ended up finding out that the paperwork that the three of us had signed for us to own it all 1/3, while I was working and getting all these clients for them, because they sat and did all the tax and accounting. They were the accountants. I was business development. They threw that paperwork away and filed their own paperwork where the two of them own it. And I didn't find out till a year and a half later. And it was heartfelt pain. And instead of getting all bent out of shape, basically what I said is, you know what? I'm going to bye, first of all. Goodbye. Goodbye. You're canceled. And I just moved on and decided I wanted to help all these business owners with their business development is really what it was. Okay. So then I start Feedbackwrench. That's going on 6 years now. And long story short, one thing is the critical piece that helped me actually get my business growing. Okay. And I heard it in Shark Tank, and that's why I wanted to make this video. I was watching Shark Tank the other week. I think it's the newer season. And basically, these three guys came in, and they had like some scrubby thing that would go on the end of a hose on a sink, and you could wash your dishes right there, and it's around the actual water thing. And then they had all these, and it was funny. The Shark Tank's guys were just ticked because they asked them, how many sales do you have? Who does sales? How much do you have in sales? And they like pushed it away, and they didn't talk about sales. Guys, sales is king in startup, okay? You cannot sit and just blab about your business plan. You have to have a business plan, and you have to have a good solution, but ultimately entrepreneurship comes down to two things. And whether you're starting your own web design business, whether you're starting your own marketing team, or you're an insurance agent, or if you're an accountant, or if you're a construction guy, it doesn't matter if you have a sweet solution to a problem unless you go get people to actually get engaged with you and give you money to solve that problem, okay? And I'm telling you, one of the things that I keep bumping up against is that people think that marketing and sales are how you're going to do that. Well, that's true, but there's a get it done attitude that you have to take, and it all is predicated on your front end activity. So certainly sales and marketing are what I'm talking about here, but what you need to know is that almost every business you see that gets started up and has success, what you have to do is you have to do prospecting, okay? And prospecting for good, successful, especially in B2B, is going to require you to intersect into the lives of high protein individuals and high protein organizations and see if they have that problem. You can't just sit back and do just a bunch of marketing and think that you're going to make it. That's not how it works. You have to make phone calls, text. You have to go meet people. You need to ask for appointments. At minimum, you need to be asking 20 to 30 people a day to have some sort of an appointment with you. And that could be LinkedIn messaging. That could be just cold emailing. It could be cold calling. It could be texting. I don't care what it is. If you want your business to succeed, you really want it. I was just talking with a gal who started her own accounting firm, right? And she was kind of at her wit's end. She had paid all this money between us setting up websites and stuff, and then she was hooked up with this organization called Corvy. She was paying $1,000 a month for tax planning, but she didn't have any customers yet. And she basically asked me and said, how do I get going? I'm like, The number one thing you can do right now is you go into Google and you know you want to get connected with contractors. You know you want to get connected with surety companies. Call them. Call them. Because here's the deal. The best customers you have two hands on the wheel of their business, okay? They are driving their business. They're busy. They're not sitting there going around and just like, oh, let's go find myself some solutions right now. Serious businesses who are going to be your good contracts and serious individuals who are productive, whose time is worth something, usually don't waste their time at network meetings. They're usually not sitting there just idling, and you can't intersect with them that way. Sure, they might be looking for a solution and we can use Google ads to pop up in front of them. Certainly you can intersect with them while they're looking at Facebook, but I'm telling you, if you call and if you text in a really winsome way that doesn't bother them, but absolutely positions yourself as, hey, I'm in the job of solving this problem, and if you have that problem, man, we'd love to help you. Keep us in mind. In fact, I just want to shoot you an email if it's all right, so that you would consider us, right? So when I talk about front-end activity, here's what it probably looks like. Certainly go to your in-person situations, and you have to have a curiosity about people, okay? So when you're out and about throughout your day and you intersect with people, ask them about what they do for a living. Ask how long they've been doing it. Ask them about their family. Be others focused so that you extract out of other people who they are and what they do. And then what you'll find is that eventually that question will be asked of you, right? And I can't tell you, almost all of my best customers, my highest paying customers, for the most part, have come from me intersecting in person. And eventually there's this point where I just say, hey, I'd be remiss if I didn't let you know, if you ever need a web design company and a marketing company, man, keep us in mind. Here's my card. If you had yours, I'd love to have it. I won't push on you, but keep us in mind, right? Or when I was an accountant, how many people I'd bump into and you'd find out they're self-employed, or when I ran Nuance, and all of a sudden you'd be positioning like, hey, I just got to let you know, if you're ever looking for like a tax planning accountant, man, let us know. Here's my business card. I'd love to connect sometime. That's number one. You have to be around people. And I know in COVID and I know in the virtual world it's a little bit different. There's a version of this where you do it through video, right? My business is predicated on me taking my ability to connect and putting it on the internet, right? So that's the thing you have to make sure that you do. Number two, I would actually call people. I would call them and be like, and here's the key to cold calling, right? In my opinion, cold texting is the same way. Cold emailing is the same way. Don't call them and unload some giant presentation about why they should choose you. All you want to do is go for really small commitment, okay? So you end up calling, hey John, hey is this convenient contracting? Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm a new accountant in town here, or I'm a new digital marketer down the road. I've actually been doing this for about 6 years, but I'm local. I'm right down the road from you. And I don't know, I saw that your information was online, you're down the road. I was wondering, could I send you an email just to introduce myself? I won't slime you or anything, but I just want to make sure that if you ever need a great website or good marketing company, that you keep us in mind. We'd love to have your business. If you position it that way, hey, I was wondering if I could just send you my information so that if you have this problem, you'd keep us in mind. That's a small ask, right? And then what you do is you send them an email through HubSpot, or you ask for their email, you get it, you verify it, and then you nurture it over time. Just every once in a while you pop in and just be like, hey, just wanted to say hi. I know you guys are busy, but man, here's a little example of a website that we just built, or here's a little example of a customer we just helped. So that's the second thing that you want to do. You have to, and here's the deal. Good, successful businesses have two hands on the wheel of their business. They don't have time to waste. You have to go intersect with them. And guess what? Real entrepreneurs like me, real entrepreneurs like my customers, they get it. They don't mind that you do it. They won't be rude to you, right? Especially if you position like, hey, I'm growing, I'm new, and I'd love to show you what we do. We do a great job. That's if you're new. At best, you just intersect with them and just assume the fact that they probably have this problem and somebody's calling on them, right? And I learned this. My dad was a sales manager at a Caterpillar dealership, the Ziegler dealership, for a number of years. Then he was a sales manager. So he went from selling some of the most expensive, complicated things you could possibly sell a business to helping other salespeople and just unleashing them and pointing them in the right direction and whatnot. But when you really think about what happens, you have to cultivate a relationship with people over time, right? And certainly, just so you know, there are ways you can do this through video. You can do this through YouTube. You can do this through content too. My whole point is the get it done attitude that gets your business going is sales. The thing that actually gets your sales going is prospecting and asking people for meetings, connect meetings, right? And the connect meeting is really where you hear about them and their business and find out who they are and find out the problems they have, find out the goals that they're shooting for, understand their operations, understand their customer, what's their value proposition. And you just get to know them. And then what you do is you present what you do. You present how you solve those problems, right? How you work to make their life better, right? And so number one, you need to just be in a position to connect with people and ask for people. Number two, you need to call, cold email, cold text, whatever that looks like. And then the last thing that I'm mentioning here is that you can do that through video, right? You can make niche video that introduces yourself to any business niche and helps them solve a problem, right? When they start Googling and asking about that problem, boy, you can help them out. Anyways, if you like the idea of growing your business, if you're looking for a new website that's absolutely fantastic that you own, and if you're looking for a good Google Ads remarketing campaign that actually moves customers into sales, that's what we do here. Go to feedbackwrench.com. Otherwise, good luck. God bless. Start a business. Get that hustle. But make calls. You got to make calls. You got to make texts. You got to do that. And don't spaz all over them with a giant presentation. Just say, hey, I'm down the road from you, or I specialize in this. Take a look at our website. I'd love to help you if you ever need help. Right? And just simple. That way you're not some giant paragraph in LinkedIn. That doesn't work. Good luck. God bless.